Hi everyone and what's up guys, and today in this video we are going to test our variables which we have created in previous video and tell a little bit of consoles in Unity, how it works and how we can test our variables and variable values in our console. So go now to the window right here and searching for the our console. So where's, yeah, there is. So console is here. So on the, again, on the window, and search for the console, which is in the bottom. So now we open our console and you see we can move our console wherever we want. So I will put here because it's a nice place. Nice place. And go to the Visual Studio and we see that we have our variables which we have created in previous video. And in order to test our variables, we need one function, and that function we are going to type in the our start method here, and we will talk about methods in further videos, but for now I will talk just of this function. And this function is actually debug.log. So what does this function do? So this function concatenate our variables with console. So if we put here in debug.log function, for example, one of our variable names, that value of this variable name, it will be printed in the console. So if we, for example, put here number and the semicolon on the end, we see that the number value is 5. And if I save this, go back to Unity, and if I now run the game, we doesn't see anything. Why? Well, because our script is now attached on any game object. So in order to our debug.log function works, we must first of all create empty. So right click here and create an empty game object, and just to remove these services, so close the tab because it makes me nervous. Yeah. And now we see we create our game object, and in his inspector panel we see that this game object has this transform, and we will explain what is the transform. And for now, just search here, click here on the add components and search for my first script. And now when we run the game, we see that our console prints 5. And why it prints 5? Well, because as I said, our integer variable number has a value of 5. And I will test now these other variables. So I will test number decimal. Save this, go back to Unity, and again run the game. We see that our console prints now appropriate value. So appropriate float 3.2 value. So I will test these two rest variables, which is of course text and is true or false, but for now it's just a text. Run the game, and console of course print our text. And last one variable we are going to test, so is true or false. That is her name. Save this, go back to Unity, again run, and again we see that our console work very fine. So we see that in order to create a variable and put here in console, we see that we must first of all create an empty game object and attach our script that is going to represent these variables, and that is going to concatenate our console with our variables. And I think this is this for this video, guys. And I just forgot to say that there are in fact many different data types, but we have presented only those which is most important and most useful for further work in Unity, and because in your work you will most likely use these data types that we have presented and explained. So I think this is this for this video, guys. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.